Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vishal. In this video, I'll show you how to build this acoustic guitar model in the Blender software. I've used simple modeling techniques to build this and I've tried to make it as simple as possible so that a beginner can understand and do it. I've also shared the reference image which I've been using in this image in this video in the description. And let's get started with the video. So let's start with the acoustic guitar modeling in the Blender. So I've got the basic model here, a basic scene, which was like file, new, and then general. And I got the simple scene here. The simple scene has got a cube and there's a light and a camera. You can get rid of them or you can hide them temporarily. And you can delete this cube here and then it's good to go. So we are right now in the perspective view, and then you have the view selection here where you could able to directly switch to a particular view. If I click this particular Z button here, a Z handle, I'll go to the top orthographic view, or I can just press 7 on the keyboard and then do that. And then I press Shift A, and then I have this option called image, and then you got background. So you need to pick the browser there. So I'll be selecting the file, which is the guitar reference. I have shared this reference in the description. There's a link for that. You can download from there. So I'll be selecting this particular image and then I control the opacity of this image, and you can just good to go there. Okay. So we have this model here where I could able to trace out this model just by selecting a few points and then tracing it out. So you can use any modeling techniques like curves can be used, or models can be used. So the best way is let's try with the polygon model. So I select the cube here and then press tab, and then select the vertex point, and then press A on the keyboard, and then press M and then merge to the center. And then you end up moving or getting this point here, which can be placed on the top corner here. So I can start, I can hold control and then right click and then start placing the points to trace out the outline of the guitar body here. So I select these 2 points and press M and then merge to the center, and then just place it on the corner. So that turns out to be a closed shape there. So if I get to the perspective view, you see the mesh in a curve outline of what we have there. So we have this curve, which is a mesh curve right now. I've built this as you have seen. So I'm going to select the model and press tab, and then go to the top view and then select a few of the vertices, and then press F, which will generally fill the points here. So here the biggest thing is like these lines should be pretty much straight. So select these lower corner two vertices and press F, and it keeps moving like that. So once that is done, you should be able to place those points evenly on both sides. You should try to equalize those lines on both sides. Now I'm going to select these 2 points and then press F, and then I will select this and then move it here and then move it here. Just try to keep these lines more parallel. Then press F again, and then you should be able to see the similar problem. So you should be able to see those looks more even at this point. Then we will start filling the points from here. Okay. So I press Ctrl R and then increase the subdivisions, and then just make sure that I've added the sufficient lines there, and then press F, and then you should be able to see those lines are well connected now. Now you can select these points here, press F, and then select these points, press F, and then select these points, press F. So it all fills those points. Now I just press K and then start connecting those lines here. So that line takes a turn and connects over there. Then press K and then connect those points, and then select the vertex point and then move it. I'll connect these 2 points here, and then from here I'm going to connect those points. So I'm just making sure that I've got all 4 sides. So let me just undo this and then start connecting those lines. So I've got those nice loops going all around, and I just start connecting those on the bottom side. So I've got all these points here. Looks some issue. I'm going to select these 2 points, dissolve the vertex point. Let's keep it that way and see how we will manage this corner here. So once that is done, you should be able to see you got a plane which has got a decent flow there. Okay. So once that is done, we will select all of those faces and extrude it. Okay. I select the faces, press A and then E, and then extrude it, which goes on to the bottom side for the thickness part. So this looks good at this point of time. So I have this model got the solid shape here. So I just wanted to punch a hole, a circle, a circular shape hole in this center. So I go to the top view, select the model, press tab, press 3 for the face selection, and then select these 6 faces which are around the circle. But if I press shift Z, I could able to see that real placement here. So I have a add-on here, which are the loop tools. So select those faces, right click, and then you got the loop tools here. Just click circle, and then if radius is off, enable the radius, and then set the radius how much you wanted there. And also you have the angle which can be used to control the orientation of this. So I set this to 0.3 or maybe 0.32, and then I just press shift Z, then you should be able to see these faces like that. It's slightly overlapping. I press S and then scale it inside. Now what I'm going to do is I press I to get the inset and then slightly bring in to the center. I press Alt E and use extrude faces along the normal, and then just move it down slightly and delete the faces and delete only the delete the faces there. Now it's time to add some crease lines. So if I just go here and enable the wireframe, you should be able to see this frame. So I want that beveled corners on this side, the bottom side, and one at this particular point. So I go to the top view and then I'm going to press tab and then 1. Then I'm going to select this vertex points, but make sure that I'm in the wireframe mode by pressing shift Z. So select both of them and then press G, and then make sure that I bring it as close as possible to get that crease line there. Once that is done, I just try to make it more evenly spaced in terms of the roundness is concerned, like that. So that looks good at this point, and then I'm going to press tab, okay, and then press control 2, and then you should be able to see that sharp line forming here. So I'm going to select the control R, which is going to add the loop, and I put this line on the top corner like that. Okay, I press once again and add I make sure that 2 lines are added on both the corners. I should have added inside, but adding 3 lines on this side will be as same as what we have here. So I switch off this wireframe and then press Control 3, and then you should be able to see a very neatly done body here. So let's do this detail here, which is in the black color. So I'm going to select Shift A and then go to the mesh and then choose the plane, and then scale it, and then press G and Y, and then move it till here, and then S and Y, move it till there, and start adjusting those placements there. like that. So if you believe that, okay, you want to do the symmetrical side, you can go to the mirror modifier. If not, you need to work symmetrically. So for example, I press Ctrl R and add that line, then select those points G and Y, move it there, and then select these 2 points, then press S and then X and then move it G, Y. So it's like that. So keep adding those points. So if not, I can delete one side of the faces and then start modeling those faces there like that. So click there, press Ctrl R, click, and then add a few lines, and then start placing lines to this detail. So I select that edge, press E, and then drag it to that particular corner. I should be able to see this detail here. I select this model and then go to the modifier and then choose mirror modifier, which brings up a model onto the opposite side. So I select the face component and then select all those faces and then press Alt T and then extrude along the normals, and then that adds up this line there. I select this face or delete those face. And then press tab and then start adding some lines. But before that, I need to select these 3 faces and slightly move it above. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this line and add that line slightly up to this level. Now what that actually does is it adds that round corner. I'll add one more line and select these 3 faces and then press G and then Z and then slightly move it. So that line is what I'm expecting. Let's select the edge also, G and Z, and then slightly give that arch shape here. Now once that is done, we need to add those bevel lines. So I'm adding lines at the edges, press Ctrl R. This line is really important, so I'm adding lines on this side also. So if I press Ctrl 3, and this is what you should get, which is as per the reference. I press Ctrl R again and then add a line, go to the top view and then select those points, okay, and then just to make it more round like that. Okay, so once that is done, we start adding some details on top. So I press Shift A, go to the mesh and then apply cube. Okay, create the cube. So I'm going to scale this, press G and then Y, move it to the point, go to the top view, Shift Z, then press S and Y and then scale it thin. SX, make it more wider like that. Okay, now press tab, press Ctrl R, add the bevel corners. So if I press Ctrl 2 or 3, that becomes that nice round cornered box. Press Shift A, then go to the mesh and then create a cylinder, then scale it completely, then go to the top view and then start placing those objects here. I'm using the inset and then merge to the center, so that gives that nice hole onto the top. So once that model is there, I'm going to select this model. Okay, make sure that it's properly scaled, and then press Shift D and then start placing those on this 7 points there. So that looks good at this particular point. You can select all of them and then scale if needed, and then move if needed. because I just want that wire to pass through it. So let's build the handle part, which is starting from here and goes all the way there. So I'll take the cube here and then scale it. Roughly I just placed to this particular thickness. It's slightly penetrating in the bottom. It's okay. So I just wanted to add a few lines there. So press Ctrl R, and I'll add a line so that there is a middle line in between. So let's keep that like that. So I'm going to select these points, press E, and then move it all the way till this point, and then scale this to match the reference. Then press E, and then press S and X. Add a line here, SX, and then now select these points, press E, SX, and scale it. Press Ctrl R just to add lines. So you're able to see you got these points here. So start adding the beveled corner lines so that it perfectly fits. I'm deleting one of the faces, one half of the faces here. I press K for the knife tool, add a line. I add a modifier here, that is the mirror modifier, so that brings up lines on the both sides. Press Tab, Ctrl R, and add some beveled corners there. So lastly, I need to add a line here. I'll just check with this lines only, and then add that 3 lines there. I press K, which is going to add the knife tool. That adds that line till there. I press Ctrl 3 and then see how this roundness is achieved. It looks okay at this point of time. So that adds 3 lines there. Let me check this subdivision and see how this is really turning up. So you can enable the wireframe and then see there are triangles here. Yeah, you can fix it, but it will add a lot of lines going down. So triangles in hard surface modeling is acceptable, especially when it's on flat surfaces, not on the round corners. So that doesn't give that pinch effect. Or if you're going for sculpting further, so triangles can create a problem, but here it doesn't show much of a problem there. So once that is added, so I'm going to scale it slightly and then move it up. So here I will switch off the smoothness, then press Ctrl R by pressing Tab, add that round corner there. So I switch off the wireframe, and then this is what we have here. Press Shift A, go to the mesh cube, and then scale it because that's not precisely 90 degrees. So I'm just creating a new one. Like that. So once that is done, you can select that and then move it onto the top and then scale it like that. Preferably I stay mesh smoothing it or whatever the subdivision thing. So Shift D and then Y, Shift D, Y. So I start matching this. These are not equal lengths. I need to manually do it. So that looks good. So I just wanted to add a few details which is on top here at this point. So I need to go to the side view here. I just go to the empty and then choose the plane axis and then just put it at this point, or maybe I can model at the center only instead of working here. I just go to the mesh and then choose a cube and then tab, select the vertex and then merge all of them to the center. Okay, so once that is done, I'm going to move it till here, control right click and then start adding those points. Okay, so once that is done, I'm going to select those and then I use the screw modifier and then this is what we get here. So once that is done, you can choose actually merge and then apply it. So I can scale it and then place it. So I press Shift D, and then place it at this 3 levels. So once that 3 models are there, press Ctrl J to join. Then go to the mirror modifier and then choose the mirror. And I'll preferably choose the empty, so that goes on to the negative side of that empty. Empty is the locator which is sitting in the middle. Okay, later you can apply it and then there's no mirror modifier and then you should be able to see this model now. So very similarly, I just need to model the screws which are there on the sides here. So I press Shift A, go to the mesh cube and then scale it. So once this is achieved, so I go to the top view, press Tab, Control R and add these lines there. And then select these 3 points and then choose S and X and then S and X. So that gives that nice shape like that. I press Control R and add the lines on all the corners. Now I press Control 1, which is going to add that subdivision and then apply it. So I'll press Shift A and then go for a cylinder here. And then I'm going to move that cylinder to this point, scale it all the way. And then I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees and then move it there. So I'm going to select these 2 objects and press Ctrl J, which is going to merge them as one single object. So I press Shift D and then move it till this point, Shift D, and then I can rotate this object. Okay, so press R and X, R, X. So let's select these 3 objects here, press Ctrl J to the join and then choose mirror modifier and then choose empty there. So I'll be choosing the apply option, and then you got this handles there. So I press Shift A and then go to the curve, and then we have this option called path. So we have Bezier type curves too, and then we got the path, which are like point type. So I'm going to choose the path, and then I'm going to rotate this in the Z 90 degrees, and then I'm going to move it on top of this. So once I placed the curve here, I press tab and then Shift D and then move it like that, and then start placing for all that strings what we have here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one here, press tab, select those points and then insert into this particular cylinder, and then start matching with these strings there. So I could see all these strings here, which are slightly above. So I'm just moving it, which is almost close to this particular handles. And now what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to select these 2 points here, and then we have a tool called subdivide, and then subdivide up to this level, then select these points and then move it, which is going to dip up to this level. So that way it's connected now to this strings. Now I'll just go to the top here. I select this curve, select the point. Okay, I hold Control, right click, and then connect it till there. And I make sure that it's going inside that particular point. So same thing, I'm going to select this one, press tab, Control right click, and then start placing till those points. Okay, you got all the strings here, which are just created from the path. So I just go to the path section, and then we have the geometry, and then we got the depth here. Okay, so I'll just enter 0.04 or 0.01, 0.008, 0.006, 0.004. Yeah, this should be fine. 0.005. Select this 0.004, 0.003. So I'm just making thin. 0.002, 0.001, 0.0008. So as you could see, gradually the strings are becoming thin there. Okay, so this is what we have on the model in terms of what we could possibly see in the detail section. So here I'm going to select this one, and just to make sure that it is the supporting handle. I mean, this is what keeping the strings above all of them. So from there it's connected to the handles there. Okay, so it's quite simple model to do as a beginner. If you really like the video, hit the like button, and if you got any questions, ask me in the comments.